Unless you fly from Germany to Italy a lot, you may never have even heard of Air Dolomiti. It's an Italian airline that's a wholly owned subsidiary of Lufthansa. How do these Italians and Germans get along? Let's find out on a quick hop from Prague to Munich. After a frigid but wonderful time in Prague, it was time to head back to the United States. My routing was a bit complex, but I explained why I chose it in my guide on ANA Around the World Award tickets linked above. My flight had a Lufthansa flight number, and is sometimes actually operated by Lufthansa, but in my case was operated by Air Dolomiti. Air Dolomiti owns 13 Embraer 195s with very small overhead bins and a 2-2 cabin layout. Thus the carry-on limits are quite strict. I arrived at the Prague airport and checked in for my flight 2 hours early, and made my way upstairs to the lounge area. There are 2 priority pass accessible lounges, and I picked the Menzies lounge. It was deserted when I arrived, and only 2 other groups entered while I was there. It was small, but had lots of seating and a well-placed flight board. There's a modest bar and soda machine, but the breakfast was limited to packaged pastries, cereals, and powdered soup. Nothing remarkable, but it was a nice oasis, provided that it's not too crowded. Unfortunately, my flight was delayed, and I was starting to get antsy, as I had a tight connection in Munich, so I made my way down to the gate for some plane spotting. Prague's Václav Havel Airport is home to an incredibly diverse host of carriers, from Hainan, China Eastern, and Sichuan, to Baltic, Qatar, Emirates, Turkish, and Aeroflot. Who knew Bohemia was the place to be? Finally, the inbound flight arrived, and the airport staff worked feverishly to turn the plane around. We ended up boarding about 15 minutes after scheduled departure. I was originally a bit miffed, as while I was traveling on a business class ticket, this particular leg was in economy, as there had been no award availability. However, Air Dolomiti has taken the concept of Euro business to an extreme. In business class, you get a guaranteed empty seat next to you and a cold meal. That's it. For a 40-minute flight? Who cares? Speaking of seats, these seats were hard as a rock. We're talking Spirit Airlines level of comfort here. But heck, I routinely spend more time on the bus or the metro than this flight. There were 32 inches of legroom, which yes, is better than airlines like American or United. Each seat also had a little pack of Italian lemon cookies waiting for you. I'm not gonna lie, these were a great touch. We initially missed our takeoff window and were delayed another 15 minutes or so, but once we had the green light, we taxied and took off in no time. With such a short flight, I witnessed one of the fastest beverage services I have ever seen, though I know most airlines wouldn't even bother. In our haste, the flight attendant missed my row, and I was served just as we began our descent into Munich. The aircraft was Wi-Fi enabled, but in an odd way. There were 2 different Wi-Fi networks for different rows of the plane. There wasn't internet or streaming entertainment, and the map didn't work, but you could read the Lufthansa or Air Dolomiti magazine, so there's that. The crew was very proactive, knowing that many of us had tight connections. They read out the gates and told us which of our connecting flights were also delayed. Shortly, we touched down in Munich and taxied to a remote stand. We deplaned by bus, and vans were waiting to take those with extremely tight connections. Ah, German efficiency. So, Air Dolomiti is cute. With small planes, distinct personality, and cookies, it definitely differentiates itself from its Lufthansa owners. It's not going to win any awards for comfort, but given that their longest flight is about an hour and a half, it really doesn't matter. If you're trying to fly to smaller Italian towns like Venice, Pisa, Firenze, Bari, or Bologna on Star Alliance, go ahead and fly to Germany and connect on Air Dolomiti. There'll even be cookies. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.